Welcome back, Clocks on the Stove, episode 3 with me, Grayson Fisher, co-host Big Meech, Roland Forrester. Today we got our first guest celebrity, starting FAU quarterback Nicholas Tronti. Tronti was a 3-star quarterback from Ponte Verde in Jacksonville, won the 2017 Mr. Florida Football Award, had some pretty unbelievable high school stats, 7,000 plus passing yards, 68 passing touchdowns, 1,000 plus rushing yards, 29 rushing touchdowns. Got him noticed around the whole country with offers from Florida Atlantic, Indiana, Arizona, Coastal Carolina, App State. Went originally signed to go play football in Indiana. Wasn't really the vibes he was feeling. Ended up transferring to Florida Atlantic, where now he leads us and our amazing football team. Tronti, how we doing today?
Doing good. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Appreciate you for coming, man. Happy Mother's Day to both your mothers as well, guys.
Yeah, happy
you
Mother's
too.
Day, all the
Happy
mothers.
Day.
So, did you spend like a redshirt season at Indiana, or you came straight to FAU, or you were at Indiana?
Yo, Meech,
Yeah, I
thanks
was
for
at
coming in.
IU for 1 year, and then just kind of realized it really wasn't for me. It was cold. I needed to get back home to Florida, and so I redshirted my freshman year there, and then transferred here. I actually had to walk on here when I came, which kind of
Oh, wow.
sucked, but ended up getting a scholarship after a year, and then it's probably the best decision I ever made coming here.
Oh yeah, was it like a preferred walk on though? Like they were like, yo, we want you come over here check it out, or were you just like, I want to go to FAU. I know I'm better than these guys. I'm gonna go there and earn a scholarship.
Yeah, I was like, I hit up one of the coaches that had recruited me when I was in high school here, and he had said like, "Hey, we don't have a scholarship here, but if you come walk on, like it won't be long before you get a scholarship," which sucked, but at the same time, it was like kind of just gotta earn your way and whatnot. And I was pretty confident I could get a scholarship, so
And you did.
I did.
Yeah, that takes some guts. I mean, you just did you have a lot of guys ahead of you in the depth chart, or you just weren't feeling IU, or what? What
I
was
was.
the
I mean, I was. Let's see. I was a third string at IU for the first like 4 or 5 games, and then our starter got hurt, so I was a backup for um, the rest of the year. So I traveled to
Oh,
every game. I mean, I took reps with the ones in practices and whatnot, and then the starter was a redshirt senior. So the next year after that, it was going to be me and two.
yeah. I mean, you guys. I liked watching FAU last year. It was you pretty much split reps the whole year. You started. Did you start most of the games?
Yeah,
Or
so let's see. I started the first what was it, 4 games. We went 3-1, and then I got benched. I guess it was week 5. I got benched, and then other kid came in, played well, yeah, and then started the next 2, struggled a little bit, and then I started the last 2. Um, and then we started out hot, had a good year, and then kind of just weren't able to get it really going in the last 3, 4 games of the year, which was disappointing. But it was tough with a new coach, no spring football that year, new offense, all that. So
Yeah, I
just
was
a
talking
weird
to
year.
I was talking to like a bunch of like because people that don't know we're also really good friends with Tronti. Um we talk a bunch like with other friends. Like, dude, you really had adversity thrown at you like crazy, man. You come to a new school, you get 2 new coaches, and you get a COVID year. Like, you've had every obstacle thrown at you, like possible. What is some things that like was able to make you like settle down, keep your feet in, and keep your focus there, and still be able to end up the starting quarterback with all this adversity thrown at you and all these obstacles?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd say adversity probably explains like my entire college career. Like when I got here, there was, let's see, we had DeAndre Johnson, who was a Florida State
Yeah,
transfer. We had
stud.
Chris Robinson, who Oklahoma transfer. We had a kid named Rafe Peavy, who was an Arkansas transfer, and then we had see those 3. So when I came in, I went from being a second string in the Big Ten to basically a fourth string in Conference USA, which was tough. And it's just crazy because like in college football, you never know like what could happen. You never know. Like I remember my parents were always like, Nick, like Like go somewhere that wants you. Go somewhere where there's a smaller quarterback room. Go somewhere that will give you a chance right away. And I was just like, I'm gonna like let it ride here. Like if I'm good enough, like I'll make it happen. And sure enough, DeAndre Johnson transfers, Chris Robinson gets dismissed from the team, and then the last kid graduates, and just like that, you go from that to being a starter. And yeah, adversity, crazy. I mean, getting benched week 5 is terrible. Nobody ever wants to get benched. And I could have said, like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do anything else anymore. I'm just gonna go out to practice, kind of half-ass it and do nothing. But I went out every day and just tried to get better at my craft. And then I ended up starting the last 2 games of the year. And one of those games happened to be the best game I've probably had in my career so far. So
That's awesome, man. Congrats. Yeah, one of my best friends actually plays D2 basketball at University of Tampa here in Tampa.
yeah,
And he said the exact same thing as you. Like when he first got here, he was a walk-on and he was like the third string in basketball, which is like even huge ordeal because they only have like what 15, 16 guys. And
right.
he was like, I'm never gonna see the court, I'm never gonna play. And he had a senior come up to him like first week, like, dude, you gotta be sharp every single practice because you never know what's gonna happen in college. And then 2 weeks later, half the roster got injured and he ended up starting a game, which he never thought
Exactly.
was even gonna be possible. So like it's something I feel like I hear a lot from college athletes. It's like stay 10 toes down at all times, you know.
For
Going
sure.
going back to this year, what would you say is like some of the biggest differences between the regular season and how it was with the COVID year?
Shoot. I mean, obviously we didn't play. Normally we play 12 games in a bowl game if we make one in the regular season. So obviously we didn't play 9 games this year. Um, what else was different? Just like getting in, the operation of everything was just different. Like getting in the morning, you gotta get tested, you gotta get your temperature checked, and then you gotta, like, the bowl game this year. Normally when you go to a bowl game, it's like you get to do all these activities, like go out, see wherever bowl game you're at. You go out and you do like volunteer work maybe, or you have like little get-togethers on the beach or something like that, depending on where you are. And kind of this year it was like, and you stay there for, normally you stay there for a week. This year it was like you show up, you're there to play the game, and that's pretty much it. Like, so we went 2 days early, but we didn't really do anything that we normally would. That was kind of disappointing. But that, and then just like little things like your normal routine in the morning, like getting food, like you gotta eat it by yourself in your room. You can't eat it with all your teammates out in like the big area, which was tough because you like to kind of chop it up with your teammates and whatnot before games and the night before games. But that was probably the biggest difference.
How about playing with no fans? Because I know in high school, like you got your girlfriend you're messing around with in the bleacher. You got mom and dad. You're like, I don't want to mess up this kickoff return. Don't fumble. But I mean, I feel like it's different when you're playing in front of a big stage. It's just a sea of people. So was it weird,
Yeah.
playing with?
Uh, I mean, honestly, for games at home, like uh we don't get a ton anyways, which sucks, but like you can definitely tell. I mean, I think in 2019 we averaged like, what was it, like 20,000 or something at every game, and this year we're only allowed 6,000. So you could definitely tell a little bit, but at the same time, when you're out there on the field playing, like the last thing you're thinking about is the crowd. I will say when we played Marshall this year, like that place got loud, and there was only
Yeah.
like, I think there was like, I don't know how many their stadium fits. I know they're at limited capacity, but it looked full. And like you're not really thinking about fans until you're like backed up on third down in your own end zone and they're freaking rocking. But that was the only time when I really kind of thought about the fans. Other than that, I mean, it was just kind of like you're out there playing. You get energy from your teammates and the guys on the sideline.
Yeah, for sure. And like,
I
dude,
remember,
I don't think that those West Virginia boys believe in COVID. I don't think that's
Nah,
yeah.
definitely
no,
not. Definitely not. That place was rocking.
Yeah. But
I
as an
remember.
athlete, oh, sorry.
I remember when I was at the Delt House and Logan Peterson was living there. He told me a story about how his first ever play on kickoff return was against Oklahoma. And he said he was shitting his pants when he walked out there. He's like, man, you know how it feels to go out there and see a red and now one person's fucking rooting for you? He's like, it sucks.
That's so Peterson, man. Peterson is something else, bro.
Now, was that something that attracted you to FAU? Because like I feel like when I obviously I'm not an athlete, so this wasn't a factor to me. But as a huge college football fan, someone that loves it and appreciates it, going to FAU, although it was a smaller school, I love that we play big schools every single year. I'm assuming that's something that attracted you to our school as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you get a chance to play somebody big, I mean, that's all you can ask for, a chance to compete against the best out there. And normally, yeah, every year we're pretty much doing that. Last year we didn't get to because of COVID, we had it canceled, but that and then just like I love South Florida. Like I don't think I ever want to leave. I didn't think I'd like it this much, but like I don't know who. It's crazy to me how like I know a bunch of people from my high school and just around that come to FAU for a year and they like just leave. They're like, I didn't like Boca. Like, I don't know how you can't like Boca in South Florida. Like,
No, literally
it's
same, dude.
mind
Yeah,
blowing.
I have a bunch of friends from Tampa that do the same thing. I'm like, do you just sit in your room all day? Like, there's unlimited things you want to do. Literally
Literally, like
unlimited.
you can
Like
do anything.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
I'm
remember.
from Connecticut, so it's always freezing, and it sucks. I'm here right now. I'm missing Boca. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could hate Boca. It's
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
an attractive. What do you think that FAU can do to get more fans in the stadium? I mean, because
Man,
Well, I
I feel
remember.
it's
like
tough
it's
because the town doesn't revolve around the school like
yeah,
Well, to interrupt you guys, I
Gainesville or
remember last year before COVID happened and we just brought Taggart in. He came to like the Greek life, like he came to our tailgates the week before, which got everyone hyped up. That got more people in the game for sure. And then
yeah,
I would say the week after that, he came to like the Greek life meeting, and someone proposed like, if you get a student section, we will come. And he was like, we're gonna work on it. And I think that's the biggest thing because like when you go to like Florida State and stuff, all my friends that go to Florida State or they go to like bigger schools, they're all together. When we go, it's like so separated and segregated. Like I feel like if we got a complete student section, it would bring in the hype way more. Because like I go to the games, dude. There's nothing more hype than when we're tailgating and then we watch you guys walk out. Like I don't know how that is for you guys, but for us, we love it,
yeah.
dude.
No, that's
That's
really cool.
awesome.
Yeah, the walk is definitely sweet. If we could get all those people that are at the tailgate to go to the game, I mean that would be huge
We
for
could
us.
sell
Like
out the stadium,
yeah,
bro. What?
literally. I mean, the only thing that sucks is like even I mean, they talk about it at places like USC and UCLA is like in LA and like in Boca, South Florida. Like there's just so much to do. And I feel like people like the older crowd that kind of lives in Boca, like the last thing they want to do is go watch a football game in like 95-degree weather. But um I mean, and people say like if you guys win games, like people will show up. But like we won 2 conference championships and we
Mhm.
still didn't have a ton of people show up. So I don't know, honestly. I don't know how to get
I
people in.
mean,
I mean,
Well, it's the college town atmosphere. Like when you're at Indiana, like, and then no disrespect to the school or the state or anything like that, but there's not
yeah,
anything to do out there but football. Like
exactly.
you look at
Yeah,
schools in the Big Ten, like they have their swimming team has sold out arenas, wrestling has sold out arenas, like sports no one
right.
cares about because that all the people in that town, everything revolves around that school. Versus like
For
what you
sure.
said, we can go to Fort Lauderdale, we can go to West Palm Beach, we can go to Miami. There's a million
Yeah.
people voting. Like people, it's not like the football game of the weekend is the prime thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
something that
mean,
does suck a little.
yeah, but do you think if FAU played in like the ACC, I think people would way more people
oh
would show
yeah.
up.
Yeah, I
No,
agree.
100%. I mean, I think
And
conference
and
definitely
here's
has
one
something to do
thing.
with it.
In 2017, when it was Lane Kiffin's first year and Devin Singletary was running all over the place. I don't think you were here yet, Grayson, but we used to have the student section in the end zone and legit we'd have all the fraternity kids would show up and they like broke up the student section. And our student section used to be full to the back from the end zone filled that whole section. So I don't know what they did, but they basically like stopped us from going over there, and it used to be rowdy, and it was when the more games we'd win, the more people came, and I think we
Right.
were undefeated at home that year. So that was
Yeah.
actually good to go to the games in 2017, but they screwed something up. I don't know
Well,
what they did.
yeah, they moved the student section to the other side. It was
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
but they moved it behind the visitors, which was stupid.
so
They
Yeah,
dumb.
should
it's the worst
definitely
thing you've
put that
ever
back in
done.
the end zone. But
Another
yeah,
thing
that's
that's
something
dumb
we got to
too
figure out.
is they don't serve alcohol in the stadium.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
they do. They do.
They do.
That's the best part.
I could have sworn they didn't.
That's the best part. Every SEC stadium, they don't serve alcohol.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, that's what I was thinking about then.
But at FAU, they do, and that still doesn't get people in. Like,
Yeah,
like you
still.
said, if everyone from the tailgates, every single person went into the game, dude,
Sold
we'd
out
have
stadium. Sold out stadium.
20,000 every
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
30,000, 40,000.
Now,
Yeah.
Shawnee, what's something back to the actual football aspect? What are some things that's getting you a little excited for this year? Because this is if I'm not mistaken, you can play this season because of COVID and another season, correct?
Yes, correct.
So what are some things that are exciting you about this season that maybe weren't that exciting about other things, or like things you're looking forward to this year? You know, you start off the season at UF, which is a huge opportunity, not only
Yeah.
for the team but for you as well. Like, what are some other things that are getting you excited and that you think like, wow, this is gonna be a good year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, opening up at UF, like growing up in Jacksonville, you always watch the Gators every year. So getting a chance to play in the swamp is going to be unreal. We're just like almost like a dream come true. Just so much history and stuff like that there. So that game, obviously, and then just a chance to kind of, we had a spring this year, which was much needed for our team, and a chance with a new offensive coordinator to kind of hopefully improve on a lot of the things we weren't able to do well last year. So pretty much, I mean, just the entire season as a whole. I mean, just hopefully we can really get it rolling here in Boca, and Coach Tyler can get us going.
Be exciting. Be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, if you
100%.
guys go into the swamp and win, that would be sick.
Oh, that
That
would
would be
be
like
unreal.
Dude,
that would
yeah.
change the whole season, you know?
Oh,
And
absolutely. I mean, God,
dude, honestly, it's possible too because they just lost a lot of people. Like, if there's
yeah,
a
they
time to
did.
do it, if there's a time to beat UF in your college career, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do it.
Definitely, and we got a bunch of good guys that were on, the 2017 team, the 2019 team that are still around, which, we know how to win games, just culture wise. And yeah, if there's a year to do it, this will be it. And it's great that it's the first game of the year because both teams are going to be rusty, and hopefully, we can come out hot and just stomp them
Well, I don't know
in
if
the
you guys,
swamp.
I don't know if you remember, but I don't know the exact date, but I'm gonna say it's between 2013 and 2016. FAU lost like 10-7 at UF before.
Yeah,
They went into
yeah.
overtime.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that same year, Georgia Southern beat UF. So like, it is definitely possible. It is
Yeah,
definitely,
100%.
yeah, it could definitely happen.
I'm
And
gonna say it's a better matchup than when FAU had to go into Oklahoma and play Kyler Murray. I remember we all thought we had a chance. We really did after
Yeah.
coming off that undefeated regular or almost
Yes.
undefeated Conference USA, and no one. I mean, Kyler Murray was hyped up, but not like that. And then we see this little dude running circles around everyone. We're like, holy crap! And then going into Ohio State and playing Justin Fields. So
Yeah.
we played that one game against Wisconsin, and it was like it was a game, the whole game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We
there's a
played
chance.
I thought we played well against Ohio State. First
Yeah.
quarter we didn't.
Yeah.
But after the first quarter we settled in, and we played pretty well against them. Oklahoma was, I mean, Kyler Murray was he's probably the most unbelievable player I've ever seen live. Like,
Damn.
he was unreal. And yeah, it is funny because people did think we actually had a chance. And it was
Oh
just
yeah,
like, we were down like 28-0 after the first like 5 minutes of the game, like just like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
we were all like, "Yo, who is this dude? Number one, running
Dude,
circles around." And then
he was
he's the number one pick.
literally running circles. Like, it was unreal.
Well, dude, I remember when you guys played Ohio State, you guys scored the most regular season points on them that whole year. You guys scored like 28 points on them.
I think we scored 24.
There
I
was
don't remember.
There was up to a point I remember watching on Fox Sports. I don't know if it was the whole season or half the season.
Yeah,
It was a good
actually, I
amount.
think I remember that
There's
too.
a good amount of the season where they were like Florida Atlantic exposed the second half of Ohio State because they pulled their starters out. Y'all started running the scoreboard up, and then they put their starters back in the second half.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was. We definitely played well. We covered the spread too, which was huge.
That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
big. We like to see that. We like to see that.
Yeah,
I definitely bet the spread on that and won.
have to.
Now, out of all your, did you do a recruiting visit at Florida Atlantic, or you just
No, I did like an unofficial, or I just came and visited. I didn't
like
do
a normal
an
tour?
official. Yeah, like a normal tour. I didn't do an official one where they pay for it and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I feel like there's just so many, like, especially in your position where, you know, you tried the big school vibe. and it didn't work out. Obviously, you were good enough. That's not the issue. There's so many other factors to it that played. But I feel like when you go to a smaller school, if you're not going to go to a powerhouse FCS, you're looking for like a group of five. I feel like it's so nice coming to FAU, man. We got the gear, we got the females, we got the beach, like
Females.
everything. We produce NFL players. We do produce,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's definitely a factor that attributed to you coming here as well, if I'm not mistaken.
And the new facility, how's that?
Yeah, the new facility is awesome. I mean, I remember when I got recruited my junior year from FAU and I took my tour, they were telling me like, yeah, this facility is going to be done like by your senior year of high school. And like,
Oh,
we were still, yeah, like
they've been saying that to every recruit since
I
2014.
know. Oh, they've been selling it like crazy. But yeah, finally it got done and it's unbelievable. I mean, the weight room's amazing. Everything else, the locker room we had in that came in 2018. So but yeah, the facilities are awesome. That's definitely a seller for recruits. And then yeah, like you said, like anybody who's looking to go group of five, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't, unless you're going to like UCF or one of those other big schools kind of in the AAC that are pretty good. I think FAU is a great spot. I don't know how you could pick anywhere else than FAU.
I agree, dude. And I feel like the Conference USA gets so much smack, but there were some good teams this year. Like Marshall popped off this year.
Yeah, Marshall was really good. They had a really good defense. Definitely, I'll tell you what, Marshall can stick, man. Those boys on defense know how to play ball. They hit hard. They probably hit harder than Memphis did, which was crazy. But yeah, Marshall was really good. Who else was pretty good in Conference USA this year? I'm trying to UTSA had a good year.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
We beat them pretty good, but they ended up finishing the year pretty well. So yeah, I think like division, like how do I explain this? Like the Power Five and the Group of Five, I think they're getting a little closer and closer every year as far as talent wise. I think the biggest difference between them is like, I mean, at Florida State, you got guys that can run 4.4. We have guys here who can run 4.4, but I think the biggest difference is like the size and like the linemen. Lineman is a huge thing when it comes to a Group of Five versus Power Five, I think.
Well, yeah, like I always remember one of my old coaches, he was a Group of Five guy. And he's like, the only big difference is like you got guys that are just as good, but they're either a little bit smaller with the same speed or they're a little bit bigger and slower.
Exactly, yeah.
And grades are another thing too. You got a lot of guys that go to Florida State or they go to other places and they can't focus as well. I mean, it's pretty hard to focus at FAU too, but I feel like it's kind of a your back's against the wall when you're at FAU. You don't have you're at a Power Five and you mess up, the smaller school still interested in you. But you at a smaller school and you mess up, it's a long journey. That's a long journey to get back.
For
back
sure.
on your feet. So I feel like that's definitely a factor as well. But looking at the Conference USA that we were just talking about, Marshall had an outstanding season. They went 7-3. I don't know the name of their quarterback, but he was a freshman who balled out this year. UTSA,
I'm trying to remember his name too.
UTSA had a great year. Yes, and UAB actually had a really good year as well. And I feel like
they did.
Speaking on schools that have the same talent as Power Five, UAB is kind of like a mini Alabama, dude. With all those, they get all those nasty transfers once they got their football program back. They got that multi-million-dollar facility and gear. Like they're another team I feel like is on a come up that's kind of exciting for you as an FAU player because when you play in CUSA, so many people are like you play nobody, but then you got teams like UAB and you got teams like Marshall and playing UF. That's a pretty solid schedule, man. I mean, Alabama plays one ranked team a year. Like, that's pretty good.
Western Kentucky used to be a powerhouse too, but they kind of fell off the past couple of years. I mean, there's every year usually there's a team ranked in Conference USA. I don't think FAU has ever been ranked.
No,
we were ranked. We were ranked a couple years ago.
No, they were never
27th.
Yeah, never top 25. Never.
Yeah, we were. I promise you. I'll look it up right now.
All right, I'll bet you $50. Because I remember I used to be like, damn, how are we not ranked every week? The rankings would come out, it'd be like 26th, 27th, just because we're Conference USA. They wanted to slander us.
Exactly, yeah.
So it was hopefully this year. I mean,
yeah.
Well, how are you guys looking?
If we come out against Florida, and beat them and take care of business like we should on our schedule, there's no reason why we shouldn't be ranked. But yeah, we look good. I mean, we got a lot of returning guys. We're only losing, how many? I think like 2 or 3 starters, I want to say, on offense and defense.
Good.
So a lot of guys that got chemistry with each other, new offensive coordinator. similar scheme, but some tweaks here and there that'll hopefully help a little bit. And then a couple transfers came in that'll hopefully help us out, which is good. And then as long as we can just keep it rolling, get the offense going, score in the red zone, I think we'll be all right.
How about
Yeah,
how about Hines Ward being there? Has he been hands on with you guys? Been working with you guys?
Yeah,
How you like
yeah,
him?
definitely. He's a really good guy, really smart. Seems to really know. Obviously, I mean, Pro Bowler. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Really knows his stuff, and he's going to be extremely, extremely helpful to us. Hopefully, he sticks around for a little longer than a year, but I'm sure he'll find a bigger gig. But he's going to be really helpful for us.
It's awesome, man.
yeah. Hines Ward came over from the Jets. Shout out my team. Hopefully, you get a couple more
Zach
wins.
Wilson, man.
Yeah,
Zach
he's
Wilson.
the truth. Golden boy.
He is.
I call him the Mormon
he's a
Mahomes.
freak. Yeah, the Mormon Mahomes.
I like that.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah, talk about new schemes. The Jets, their offensive scheme. I think FAU had more passing yards, even though we probably ran the ball every single play.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't have too many passing yards last year.
Yeah, that's for
We're
sure.
Probably in the same area, but
I mean, but the runs did work. What was the name of the other quarterback? Johnson? What's his name?
who, the kid on our team?
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name.
Javion Posey.
Yeah. Posey. Duh. Yeah. And then there's another quarterback I saw. I think I saw him on Instagram. His name is Michael Johnson. He's another guy.
Transfer, right?
He just came here from Penn State.
Yeah. That's who I'm thinking of. So you got a crowded quarterback room over there. It's always competition, right?
Always, man. Every year you got to compete every year. That's how you find your guy. Find your. You got to make a competitive environment if you want to win games. So.
Now, is that something you like or you don't like, knowing that, like, it's like it's almost concrete that you're the starter, like everyone knows it, but at the same time, like you said, like anything can happen. Do you kind of like that edge?
I mean, like, how do I explain this? I think you got to prove yourself every year. You know, if I'm a coach, like if I was the head coach, like why would I not bring in the best guys I can? Like if I can find it, if I have a guy that's good, I want to bring in another guy who might be better. Like why would I not do that? So like I don't ever want something to be given to me. I don't ever want to give something to somebody. I want to make them earn it. So I think that's how you kind of, like I said, you make a competitive environment. That's how you get people around you better. It rubs off on the team.
Exactly. I'm a big believer in that depth chart competitiveness, because I went to a really big prestigious football high school my freshman sophomore year at Tampa Jesuit, and I transferred to a really small 2A school my junior year, where I went from 300 kids trying out on the football team for Jesuit to 19 kids on an entire roster in my second school.
Yeah.
So these kids would be like half-assing in practice and like joking around. We'd be 0-5 because they knew that they couldn't get their starting job taken from them. There was no competition in the depth chart. We didn't have enough kids. And I feel like that's something you really need, and you need older guys to look up to. That, when I was at Jesuit, you really didn't start till you were a junior. You had years to learn the system, stuff like that. These kids didn't learn the system. They're ninth grade going right in the way, so they didn't have habits to learn. They didn't have someone to follow. And I feel like that's really big, especially for you as being the leader. Like you're kind of the role model for a lot of these guys on offense, especially the younger kids.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I've been around for, I guess this will be my 4th year at FAU. I mean, I've won a championship here, so a lot of people on the team still are on the championship team. Like I said, we know how to win games. It's like we just kind of have to pass down that culture, to the guys who are coming in, which is tough sometimes depending on what kind of recruits you get and who you get and what type of kids you get. But like that's vital. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Bama's so good every year is because then they got Saban, and he's gonna preach the same culture every single year when people come in. And normally people at Bama are 3 years and out, but schools like that, I mean, it's like culture is the biggest thing. You have to have a team that is run by the players, not run by the coaches. Like coaches set the standard, coaches set the culture, but the players are the ones who kind of keep that culture going.
Yeah, they kind of like guide the path, but it's up to you guys to follow it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that the culture is still a big thing, even though you have guys that are 3 now or 1 year transfers or whatever. It's just the mindset aspect of that's what a lot of big schools have, and that's what a a lot of guys like. So if we could build that, I mean, they're already building that winning culture. You could
For
see it
sure.
compared to, we'll talk some crap about FIU. Look at their culture. They've trash bags, bottom of the league. But we'll give them we'll give them that one win against Miami. But
Yeah.
other than
Yeah,
that,
true. That was a good
we
win.
could win in that Shula Bowl. Just build
Yeah,
that
as long as we can keep. It's the biggest game of the year. As long as we can keep winning that.
Now, before we get going, Charlie, my last question for you is going
Yeah.
back to that culture talk you were saying. Is that
Yeah.
something that you take pride in? Like you want to be able to come back in a couple of years as an alumni and see FAU succeeding and see, because I feel like that's a big thing with our school versus like in Alabama. It's like the alumni, like if we weren't good, they don't really care anymore. They kind of use FAU as a stepping stool. Is that something you want to change? Like you want to cement a culture, like a permanent, you come back and support the team and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I mean, coming here was the best decision I've ever made. I mean, I've made so many like friends that I'm gonna, be friends with for the rest of my life and whatnot. I want to be able to come back and come to games and stuff, and I want to see the stadium, sold out at one point, maybe when I'm 35 and come back with my kids or something. It's the biggest thing is like leaving the place better than you found it, like nobody's ever going to remember you for how many, touchdowns you threw, how many interceptions you threw, tackles you made, whatever. It's like they're going to remember you for what kind of teammate you were and what kind of impact you had on the program. So I want to make sure that I set the standard, me and my class and all the guys that have been around here, so that when we come back, we can see how that standard has grown and how bigger the culture's gotten and all that. So yeah, definitely they'll be able to come back to games and whatnot.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited for you this season, man. As a friend and as a fan, want nothing but the best
Appreciate
for
that
you. Gonna
for
always keep in
sure.
contact, support you. Thank you for coming on today. I hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Meech, anything you want to say?
Oh man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate the time. Good
Now,
luck. Go
let's go
Owls.
spend
Appreciate it.
let's go spend our Mother's Day with our moms now and stop talking football.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate
Have
it,
a good
guys.
one, boys.
Have a
You
good
too.
year.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Go Owls. Peace out.